I guess.
All right, so we're joined by Martin from General Bytes and
Merrick, hi from Evertrade.
all right, Eric from Evertrade.
Yep.
So yesterday, Martin told us just a little bit about what you guys are doing at Evertrade. It sounds like if I had bought a bunch of Bitcoin from an ATM, sold them on Kraken, bought them and sold them, bought them and sold them, I would somehow take the transactions to you and you would clean it up nice into a report or something like that?
Yes, exactly. General Evertrade is the profit loss evidence at the moment.
Mhm.
We are actually heading in the end we have a consolidated data export for the accountant, right? So basically we support even hodlers and general byte operators. Then we moving to fund administrators and every other even crypto mining operations. Well, you simply we support the CSV uploads right now from Kraken, Bits, and Bittrex
Okay.
as the starters.
For Bitcoin or all cryptos?
We consolidated into the three fiats right now: the dollar, euros, and Czech crowns.
Okay.
And there is cross matching with 7 cryptos, including DAI, for example.
Yeah.
So the workflow is very simple. You upload your CSV file from Kraken, for example.
Yep.
And then we automatically calculate by average cost basis in the simple UI in my portfolios. And generally from this, we will be able to give you the consolidated data and prepare it for accounting purposes.
Is there an API to the exchanges, or is that like a coming soon?
For now, it's not, but we will add it
Yeah.
because we figured out like it's kind of safer to do it manually right now, even though many people would disagree on that. But because APIs have limitations and all that issues, but it will be there eventually. Yes.
One thing that I thought would be really useful is that on exchanges, obviously, you know, you've generally got a good history of the transactions, but as soon as you throw it to a wallet, you tend to lose, you know, you've got the evidence of the transactions, but it's more of a task to kind of account for. Right? So is there any plan in future to be able to say upload your addresses and then so you can count all of the transactions, not just exchanges, but offline transactions? Or
yes. Yeah, that's simply yes for that.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah,
it will be
nice.
Now, the main use for this would be maybe end of the year, I have to pay my taxes, so I'm going to put all my accounts in there, figure it all out. But Martin also mentioned another horrifying use that I could find out exactly how much money I had at what point, and then, of course, how much I lost, hopefully how much I made, but no, it's going to be how much I lost. So does it have that feature? What does it look like?
Yeah, it is. We took this feature into the main two main charts. One is the portfolio history chart, when you can see your daily, or you can put your snapshot into, for example, into the middle, from the beginning to the middle of the portfolio history, so you can see that, or you can start from zero, right, from the beginning. And then we also have this profit history chart, where you can just see the profit, and I mean the net value and the benchmark of the market itself. And the really good thing what we have here is we calculate it with shorts. So basically we allow you to not add deposits at the beginning, and the program will calculate with it. It's good news. And
sorry, I didn't get that. So it calculates the shorts?
It does calculate the shorts, yes. One way of shorts would be when you didn't when you have buy sell transactions, you can actually start from sell, and we can calculate with it, so we don't have to immediately upload the deposit to start us, You can add it later according to your needs. And I can add to it that we keep like different inventories. Like, for example, you was buying Bitcoin with Czech crowns or euros or dollars. And what we do is we average cost it into the US dollar, your portfolio currency, in a separate tab. So that's for a clean view.
And would it also be useful for businesses? Like Martin mentioned, if you were running an ATM, you have a whole unique kind of problem tracking your transactions. You have USD, you're constantly filling the machine. You're probably running around with your head cut off. You don't have time for this accounting. How would it help that person?
Absolutely. Right now, we are partnering with several General Bytes customers, and we are generally trying to put together the like the exactness on transactions, so they don't have to pay that many taxes as they do right now. Because there's general guidelines on that.
Sure.
And you pay taxes, and they do pay taxes, but it would be nice to have like a little bit more deep insights on and correct. How can I say that? Preciseness of that.
Yeah, sure. It's the granularity. I know that like if you pay your taxes, you can just pay the thing you can kind of estimate, or you can itemize your deductions, and it takes work, or it takes QuickBooks, or you have to keep all your receipts for a year.
Indeed.
Nobody does it right. But if you could just hook your ATM business, or maybe even any other crypto accepting business, like you sell hats or widgets or whatever, and you just at the end of the day, you put your widget back end into the thing, you sold 1,000 widgets, got it, $100, whatever it is, and this would help you track that.
Yeah, I was talking with one entrepreneur from Slovakia actually yesterday, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm not accepting crypto to my business because of this issue with accounting, right?"
Sure.
So that's a problem, I believe. So
and this would solve that problem.
That's where we're getting to.
And how much would you charge for that?
There is I mean, it's public beta right now, so we say the price is in there. But I think for the people who doesn't have more than, let's say, 5,000 transactions, you will be no more than $180 a year.
There's a free plan too,
oh,
right?
Absolutely. What is it there right now? The managing and portfolio views, it's for free and it stayed that way.
That's important for the viewers. They're always like a freebie.
Yeah, they can try it out on a smaller scale, but
Indeed.
if you're taking in thousands of transactions, or you're a giant ATM company, it makes sense. You're going to want to pay, so you can get some tech support or something. And as well for you, for a company, somebody's got to pay somebody sometime. Right?
There is good people working on it, and they deserve some money to live from, right? So,
and it would also work with other ATMs, not just General Bytes ATMs, right?
Are there any other ATMs?
I don't know. They still keep working on them every once in a while. I heard Mike Tyson had one for a while, but I haven't seen it yet. I keep looking.
Probably Security and Exchange Commission went after him, no?
It's probably in somebody's office now.
What was that? Was it in Vegas?
Yeah, it was in Vegas. I've been looking.
It looked pretty cool.
Yeah, they put the face tattoo on the ATM. I think it was a Lamasu or something.
I don't know.
Not that interesting. But
never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
Bias. So, Martin, anything else that you need to talk about
yes,
General Bytes? We had you on yesterday.
Yes,
and you forgot everything.
Yeah,
you had a list. You were going down the list, but there was still more. You guys are so busy.
There's the Czech crypto scene, or the Czech and Slovak crypto scene. They're making a documentary right now, libertasfilm.sk.
Nice.
Polis is doing that. It's like a crowdfunded project, and he slowly started. It's going to be like really a documentary about how did it start, where it's going, the people, faces, because like many things happened here.
Faces, masks,
masks. But it's also the like the innovation here, that how it did start. Like in a way, Polis, like where we are now, was like the glue that got everything together. So there's isn't like the Satoshi Labs guys. They invented pooled mining.
Yeah.
They then went on with the Trezor, the ATMs, the crypto meetups here, and also there's a bit of activism in it too. In Amsterdam, we're all in it for the money. I've got $500. How can I make it 5,000? And they're not as much interested in the social revolution behind it. This film, libertasfilm.sk, this documentary, will really document it, everything. I saw some trailers. There's a trailer online. Do watch it with Google, because it will be able to translate the page for you. Otherwise, it's just probably. But the trailer is already like subtitled in English, and if anybody wants to help out, Boris is it's like it's on a low budget, actually no budget, but the results are nice. I think people should check it out on libertasfilm.sk. That's I think it's okay, now I'm link pimping, but do check it out. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like a really cool idea. And it kind of reminds me of Room 77 in Berlin.
Oh, yes.
Where everyone thinks everything's decentralized and on my computer and I got my laptop, but you still need a place to plug in that laptop, and you need a place to buy a hamburger. And if they'll let you talk about crypto, or have you meet up there, or have a Paraleni Polis where we can all have meetups and co-working and all these kind of things, you do need a physical space. It does kind of end up tying around a physical space, whether here or Room 77 or something else in San Francisco,
I think
these kind
Room
of things.
77 was the first one to have an ATM. And it was also the first one, I believe the owner, I forgot his name, but
Yeah,
I
Jorg
yeah.
Platzner.
York, yeah, it was, I think 2 years or 3 years ago I met him here. And I looked at the ATM and said, "Do you like the ATMs?" Oh, I had one of those. It resulted in a trip to the police station. So, yeah, you know,
Yeah, Germany's laws were very moving on the ATMs and very
it's
fluid.
changing.
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
We ship I think 5 to 10 ATMs per month now to Germany.
Fantastic.
There's a blockchain hotel that I really recommend people visiting Germany. Like Gideon does that with like a whole team, of course.
Yep.
You've been there too, no?
Yeah, a couple of times.
You'll be everywhere.
Mr. America, all over Europe, all of a sudden, yeah.
Hashtag a little bit jealous here.
Yeah.
That's so yeah, it's changing, and it's also, I think, a cultural difference. In Germany, they are very strict with, you know, regulating everything. So, but once they get everything up and running, I think it will be a growth market. It's one of Europe's largest countries, so we have to.
Yeah, Germany is definitely a follow the rules first country, not one of these do whatever you want, ask permission later.
No,
that's not their style.
Verboten, unless you're allowed. Yes.
Indeed. Stay off the grass. Yeah.
So how was your party yesterday?
Oh, you have to ask him.
So you did go to Club Cross or not?
We went there. Yeah, it didn't exist. The party. It was like
the Monero party was very decentralized and distributed.
It was so distributed.
So distributed, no one knew where it was,
so
if there even was one.
So private they did. Yeah, just not even the event organizers.
So you had like you left early or what?
Oh, we went to Steampunk Club.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which I'll be going to fetch my jacket from later.
They had a good DJ, Matador in Roxy last night. I saw something like on the Facebook, but my voice is gone, and I didn't sleep much, so I just hang around.
Yeah.
At Fabrica.
It's better to get some sleep. I was here early, ready to go this morning. Not a person in here. Nobody in the place. Nobody wanted to talk. Nobody I recognized. I just sat down here, ate my breakfast, and nothing else. So yeah.
But I think the 1 o'clock starts are awesome because, you know, people do go out after conferences, especially when there's after parties, and you know, it's sad to see if you are there early in the morning that there's less people seeing the sort of 9 o'clock, you know, the early ones. So, and plus, you know, it's difficult to get up at 9 o'clock and sit a whole day listening, you know.
Sorry, but so the Cross had no party?
No, so Cross no party, and then so we just went to Steampunk. So just everyone kind of grouped up.
This morning they had like this badge clinic thing, very early, and you could create your own badge. You know, like the wallets. Sure. Yeah, like the wallets. Yes, the NFC thing. We're not explaining it now. We did that last year, so no, not today, not this year. And I'm
3D printed plastic borders.
Yes, because people were complaining that it had sharp corners.
No more cutting yourself on the PCB boards.
Wallet.
Oh, you whiny kids. Back when I was a kid, my case was full of metal. Every time you wanted a new video card, you're going to get 5 cuts on your hands. We didn't have these fancy Apple cases with your rounded corners and your uncut hands.
But this workshop this morning, people were soldering. I mean, at 9 o'clock or something. After the night partying, you know, I'd be shaking.
Oh,
you know?
Indeed.
So I skipped that one. Yeah. But,
good way to get fire on your hands.
Oh, I upgraded my my Smurf suit.
You did? You did? Show the camera. There you go. There you can see.
Cyberpunk Futurist now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had some screen printing going on.
Yes, Martin Fisher did it. It's like he's like the artist behind the posters. Posters. That's not the right word. It's silk screen printed. They're all limited edition. So
yeah, he's got a different strategy than I'd have on the posters. I like the $10, $20 poster. He's more like, I'm gonna do 10 prints and they're $400 each.
Oh no, that's like
$100,
right?
$100 still.
But
out of my price range. But
I had to get one for the office.
Nice.
We did some partnership with a graffiti artist, local graffiti artist. So sort of stylized Bitcoin B with a cap with the Polis logo. So I thought, you know,
nice.
You know, I never spent into crypto on presents. So every now and then, you know, you gotta. My grandma used to say, if nobody tickles you, You have to tickle yourself. Cement like buy yourself a present. That's what I assume at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Just tickling yourself doesn't quite work.
Yeah, that's,
You have to make your own fun, otherwise it's entertainment.
what do you where are you traveling after Prague?
Oh, after this, I'm going to Budapest for just a couple of days, then on to Romania for the
Wow.
Transylvania Crypto
Yeah.
Conference, where I've heard Mad Bitcoins might be emceeing.
Whoa.
If you want to see Mad Bitcoins MC a conference, so
yeah,
I'm going to introduce everybody and listen to all the speech. I did a practice of that on the Bitcoin cruise recently. Went really well. It's different than sitting down in a booth and talking to people. I have to like save my talking till the end. So I have to remember what I was going to say and maybe take notes this time. And then I get up there and do a little introduction thing and hand off to the other speakers. And it should be pretty fun. Then I'm on to Berlin for the Lightning Bitcoin conference, the first Lightning conference. And then I'm going to England for a couple weeks, and I'll go to BitBrum in Birmingham.
Wow. Are you going tonight to the Liberland? At the Liberland embassy, there's a party at I think 5. No,
5 sounds good. That sounds
Okay.
nice and early, but I don't know. I'm usually pretty tired after these conferences. For everyone else, it's a lot of like watching speeches and hanging out. For me, it's like 4 to 6 hours straight of talking and thinking.
Yeah.
And I really don't want to talk or think. After
Yeah, you don't have
that.
to use think or talk. You just have the beers. You know?
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, they want you to think and talk. It's always a show. But yeah, and they're like, oh, I met that guy. He can't think or talk. That's not the reputation you want. You want the opposite.
Carefully build up reputation after all these years.
Yeah.
How many thousands of followers you have now on the channel? You keep still count that?
Less and less all the time. We're in the
Really?
negative growth now. Yeah. No, we don't have the power to predict the future.
Yeah.
These other people are fortune tellers and chart readers and have magical, mystical powers. Bitcoin's going to 1,500. It must go to 1,500. And then when it doesn't go to 1,500 and goes to 3,000, no one calls them on it. No one says anything. No one stops following. They're all like, oh, crystal ball must have not worked this time. I'm going to stick with it, though. It's a crystal ball. It's big and shiny and looks like a pearl. I'll bet it can tell the future. So, no, we're not future predictors. We're not crazy, hypey altcoins. This altcoin makes you rich. Subscribe now. And we're also not pretty girls. So, no, we're the public broadcasting, the old internet here. We're the
There's
PBS.
plenty of pretty girls. So
there are more this year than ever before.
We should get some on stage.
But not a
It's good
single one comes near this fishbowl that we live in. We're in the basement. They don't put us on the main run. You know, there's no signs or anything. We're undercover here.
Last year we
no
had
one
like
knows
a
we're here.
chill out zone there, right?
They had this amazing thing I've seen in San Francisco before. They call it the silent disco, where they plug like a little thing into the board and they have an FM transmitter, and then everyone have headsets and they can walk around listening to us talk, which was really great. And I liked it, but no, I don't know if the gear ran off or if it stopped working or they're just too busy this year, but no one hooked up a silent disco. Nobody comes down here. But yeah, I have seen the girls when I go up for a drink or to come back down. There are more than before, so it's getting better, I
Are
think.
they taking good care of you for drinks and stuff? Because otherwise, I'll have to get you some drinks because, you
No,
know.
no one sends us anything.
Oh,
Man.
no.
We just we've had a little bit of water. Yesterday we did 4 hours straight, no water, no soda. We just keep rocking it out. But as long as we can keep getting somebody down here to talk to, we'll keep doing it. Otherwise, I'll talk to Dan. I know Dan bought some crypto art recently. Maybe tell us a clean version of the story.
I did, yeah. So I saw art by Vesa at the Ethereum meetup at I think it was London. I think it was UCL, yeah. Again, or one of them, Imperial or UCL, and yeah. So I kind of drunkenly agreed to buy a print, and I thought, what was a print? $100, but it was quite a bit more. I won't say how much, but I did get a completely customized version, and it's absolutely incredible.
You already framed it and all?
It literally arrived this, as I was walking out to come here. But it's it's a beautiful piece, and it's customized, and he's put my Crypto-Raptor logo, integrated that into it. So it's it's amazing. I just need to find a wall that's good enough for it, though.
I like your shirt. Where do you get it?
I think my girlfriend got this for me.
That's a good present. Huh?
I pretty much only have crypto T-shirts now.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's it's. I got my Trezor T-shirt.
Nice.
Yes.
It's already 3 years old. And I grew into it. It's getting a bit tight now, but I hand wash them. I wash them inside out and I hand wash them because this is. I don't want to.
Want to make it
Your
last.
logos,
yeah.
yeah. And these things are collectibles as well.
Yeah, I have a crypto millionaire T-shirt I bought on AliExpress.
Nice.
But that one, I just really I wash it and wash it so it has to look like weathered. Like I like he's got that T-shirt for years.
Yes.
Which means
Must be true.
which was cool. I was walking Amsterdam, and people were pointing like, "Hey, look at that! What a joke! What a joke! Good joke!" I said, "No, it's not just the T-shirt. It's not just the T-shirt, but it's if I see something crypto T-shirt like, I have to have them. I only have crypto shirts. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that there's people have said, well, it's wearing something that's got Bitcoin on it. You're making yourself a target, but like, man, like people go around with like Gucci shoes or whatever. Like it's like you wear a brand, or you wear like Ferrari. People wear Ferrari jackets. It doesn't mean they've got a Ferrari. So I kind of think, as long as you're kind of generally, good about where you take yourself or whatever, then you're probably not going to have a problem.
It's strange though, isn't it? I mean, I got kind of my first designer shirt. I was at this low cost place called Ross, where they sell. Yeah, exactly. That's where I always shop.
Yes.
That's my place.
I know
Ross,
Ross.
Marshalls, all the cheap places. So it's seconds. They couldn't sell it in the big store. It came down to me, and it was a Calvin Klein shirt for $20. So I was like, oh, I'll get that, And I'm walking around. I'm like, I look like a rich jerk.
Oh my God, it's Max.
Max. Whoa, long lost Max. We'll have to scoot over on the couch. Maybe we'll put you next to Martin here. Put you in the jaws of the lion's mouth.
Really enjoyed your talk yesterday. That was really good.
Yes. I like your suit, but it's missing the fiat shade coins from last year.
Yes.
No, well, I
They're
was
gone.
criticized, just like last year you were very criticizing me on having no lightning support.
You can take this one though.
And that we just and like the Fiat shirt, Fiat suit last year, people were, why are you wearing a Fiat suit? And I had to explain every time. It's like, we take the Fiat, we put them in the ATM, you get your valuable crypto back. But that lightning remark, that stuck. Yeah, but now we have lightning, so
that is fantastic.
Yeah,
both SKYPE and lightning. That is just a huge one.
I could not look you in the eyes without lightning support. So
great job.
I didn't do it. It's a rocket scientist developers. I just got to tweet about it, which is like even better. But,
that's the important part. You do the shilling and others do the coding.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, and he's got it on the pay terminals, the ATM, and the Red Bull machine.
Yeah,
right?
otherwise it makes no sense, right? Yeah. The Red Bull machine we changed this year because there's so many flavors of Red Bull, and unlike the previous machine, Red Bull actually gave us money to implement it. So I think there's a paradigm shift thing going on. They realize it's good to have the crypto machine, and yes, and it works with Lightning. So you already tried it? Did you try it?
I did buy a bunch of coffee. I didn't buy Red Bull, but the coffee works.
Yeah, perfect. Yes, that's. We do have 2 directional supports, but we disabled it because what will happen at the end of the conference, people just like suck up all the capacity out of the channel. So that's and it's a bit too beta for that. So I think that would like break it. So there's like more coming, but this is the start. We even found some errors in the wallets. There's like, it's all bleeding edge. So some of the wallets, they still have little bugs in there. So I'm not mentioning which ones because they're all good wallets. If they support Lightning, they're like, God our blessing. But there's, I think the future is in beta, but it's a little bit better than it was last year.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And right, it's very difficult to use Lightning Network for these types of things, right? Where because of the channel balances and all this, it's a new thing to wrap your head around, and especially to build a valuable and profitable business model with all this is not easy. But good that you're venturing here.
I think there is the business model with Lightning is that you have a node where everybody connects to, and then you forward those transactions, or you provide liquidity, or how you correctly say that?
Routing.
yes, there will be a business model behind running Lightning nodes. And right now, everybody's just forwarding for free but in the future, I see that becoming like a real business. If you have many connected clients and you provide liquidity to the network and routing the transactions, that yeah, I think
Was it the US that said or hinted that running a Lightning node could be considered as like banking, and therefore you'd need an MTL or money
yeah,
transfer
bloody
license?
bureaucrats. How are they going to stop that? I
Yeah.
mean, really, I think also the whole privacy thing. It's
Yeah.
perfect with Lightning. It's a good luck.
Yeah.
That's the last on-chain transaction, and then it's gone.
Yeah.
So we're building a new financial infrastructure, and the regulators will just have to play catch up.
Yeah.
Exactly right, and we see this more and more. That Lightning Network is actually not really a money transmitting system, but a message transmitting system. So you transmit a message in the TLV field, and then you get paid for that transfer.
Yeah.
And I mean, right now in the current way we use Lightning, all the message transfers are also value transfers. But you can, for example, with other protocols like Storm, for example, it really becomes evident that you're not necessarily forwarding money, you're forwarding messages, and you get paid for successfully forwarding that message.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, as you say, we're not asking for permission here, so we will just do it anyhow. But I would even say that you can make compelling legal arguments that this is anything but a money service business.
It's always good to hide behind free speech. It's the First Amendment. It's right there.
Yeah, we don't have this First Amendment here. I don't know what they call it in Europe. There's some we like cash money is rapidly disappearing, and it does worry me. I tested myself like not to use cash money for a month, and I just used my fiat card, and it was just shocking. You could immediately see how much do I spend on beer, how much did I spend on smokes, and it's. I didn't even want to know, but what the scary bit is that it shows all the locations exactly where we've been. Like, hey, why did you buy 2 coffees? Who were you with?
That's right.
So we should fight to keep this, have a financial privacy. I think this is a human right to have financial privacy.
Well, it's funny because banks rely on the fact that they've got private banking, certain data is private and it needs to be kept that way. But yet, the individual having their own privacy, that's a no-no. It's a bit, yeah.
And they were just showing me an article this morning from the IMF. They're talking about if they go hardcore into negative interest rates, that they're pretty much going to have to get rid of cash. Because if you start charging people money to keep their cash in the bank, they're going to all run to the bank and take out their cash. And if you can spend cash anywhere at an equal value to bank tokens, then people are going to see this and they're going to stop paying the negative interest rates, and they're going to keep all their cash, which I think they're going to do. I'm not in support of, like, the people were all freaking out. I was like reading the article and I was agreeing with it. I was like, yeah, if you're going to do negative interest rates, you've got to get rid of that cash. And they were like, oh my God, he's in favor of it. I was like, no. I'm from the IMF perspective. I see exactly what they're saying.
They're changing the law in the Netherlands now. We have wealth tax. I don't know if you have that at home.
When you pass away, or
no,
or just
that's
a cap?
inheritance tax. This is tax on savings where you already paid tax on. So if you don't spend your money, then you'll get, in the Netherlands, we get tax like a few percent per year on savings above a certain amount. And they're now changing the law and make it appear that they're making it like cheaper. So if you keep money in your bank account, money in your bank account, then you're no longer paying. Well, of course not, because you pay already negative interest rates. But what's happening is that if you keep it in Bitcoin or real estate, there's a 500% increase in tax. So they're already preparing the tax system for the future, where they will basically, with the negative interest rates. That's why I think, we should all run to the bank, take our money out, or transfer it to the nearest favorable exchange and put it in Bitcoin. I mean, it's ridiculous.
And a protest like that is the only way to work with the system and change it. Yeah.
Exactly, Thomas. The only way we vote is with our wallet.
Yeah, exactly, right. And this is all based on the Keynesian ideology that consumption actually increases the economic activity and the economic welfare in general. And I mean, that is very flawed on a fundamental level. But if you assume that that is correct, then all these negative interest rates, all this confiscation of wealth and extra taxation for savings makes absolutely sense. Because according to that model, if you prohibit the savings and if you increase the current consumption, well, that is ultimately good. But well, then you realize that if you burn everything down after a while, you don't have anything and you're poor.
This is scary. It's just scary. You know, you can't even save for a pension. You know, I don't have a pension. I've always been like independent, but I see people in China, they try to save, but the inflation is so high, they're basically held hostage. They have to invest it in worthless real estate. You know a lot about the Austrian economics. That's why I like listening to your show. It's true, you know, like I mean, culturally, economically flat as a pancake, but you bring some depth in there, you know, give some more information. But guys, I'm like really thirsty. Shall I get us something to drink?
I think you're gonna bring back Red Bulls.
Yeah, I'll pay with Lightning. I think if I pay with a Litecoin, then Max
there'll be a revolution on our hands if you
Don't tell him you're going to put
Litecoin.
Ripple on the
That's not
machines.
right.
There's like 5 different flavors. Which any preference? I like the blueberry one.
Do they have like grape or something?
Oh, no.
Make a grape flavor.
Yes, Red Bull, make grape flavor.
I don't know, plain?
There's a sugar-free, which I think is like toxic.
Nah, that's chemicals. No.
Yeah, there's cola
Sugar-free
flavor,
means
there's
poison
grapefruit flavor, there's
cola
blueberry.
flavor? I'll try cola
Yeah?
flavor. Yeah, I like trying new things.
Okay, cool.
So where can people check out Evertrade? And of course, General Bytes, ATMs, they're everywhere. They got neon signs around them. You can buy one, you can use one, all the things.
Well,
right?
we'll be launching new models in like 1.5 years, so not for now. But I'm not sure if they will have neon. Probably will have neon, but it will be, Evertrade is at everytrade.io.
Indeed. Evertrade.io. Yes.
It's also where the free beta is, or not?
It is public free beta right now. Please just check it out.
So
Sign
try
up.
it out.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna get to some drink because I'm drinking this mana stuff. Do you know mana?
No one does.
It's
You
like
keep saying it's like Soylent.
It's
but
like
yeah.
Soylent, but I think it's better. And I've been living on this stuff for like a week now. And you don't have to eat. You can just take 5 of these a day. You get all the calories you need. There's so many ingredients in it. So there's probably something healthy in it as well. And yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, but it's acquired taste. Many people don't like it. So I'll get this Red Bull. So, cola flavored?
Sure.
Coffee flavor.
No, you want coffee?
Yes.
Espresso cappuccino?
Oh, espresso will do.
There's a bulletproof coffee too.
Oh, bulletproof.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's very keto and gives you
The butter people.
Okay, what a bit. Marek?
I'm actually fine with the regular though.
Oh, whether regular?
Yeah, the basic Rebel, you know.
Oh, okay.
Without any flavor.
Chemical flavor.
Uh,
The
Coke,
wings flavor.
2
Gives you
Red Bull.
wings.
Okay, guys, then thank you for having me on the show. It's
Thanks, Mark.
always good. But
Good time.
I'll be right back with some drinks. So I'll give the microphone to Max now.
Well, thank you very much, Martin.
Thank you guys for having me as well.
Yeah,
Thanks so
for
much for
joining
being
us.
on the show.
Bye-bye. Thomas.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, don't block the camera.
Sorry about that, guys.
Oh, okay. They like audio.
It's a podcast anyway, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be a podcast someday.